Wi-Fi is commonplace now, and it's becoming unavoidable, really. With the introduction of the iPhone, now the iPad, and all the the competitors with that, then even if you're not near a commercial mobile phone network that carries the ability to use that sort of technology, then almost everywhere you go, whether it's your neighbour's house infiltrating your house, or whether it's actually going to friends and relatives, or even nowadays if you go to McDonald's or a restaurant, it's got Wi-Fi. Even Tesco's now, in the bigger ones. I was in a great big Tesco's yesterday in Burnley, and you could log on to their Wi-Fi network and it was free while you were shopping. So it's absolutely everywhere, and that's the big change, I think, because that's only really... one thing that's worth talking about at this point is how short the lifespan of this mobile obsession has been. Because we live in it now, and it just seems so much part of everybody's life. It's as if it's been around forever, but it hasn't. Back in the days when I worked in the industry, one of the things my company did was sell mobile phones, and if you went back to, I think it was about 2000 or 2001, that O2 introduced the first cross-network tariff. So in other words, you paid, it was £60, I remember it well, you paid £60. It was only available for businesses. I suppose anybody could buy it, but it was designed and aimed at businesses. It was £60 for 1,000 minutes, so it was 6p a minute, but that didn't matter who you rang. Whether you were ringing a landline, your own network, or you're ringing another network. And that's the key. I think that was the first one where you actually knew what you were spending when you used a mobile phone, because after number portability, which was when you could then take your phone, say from Vodafone to Orange, and carry your number with it, we didn't know, as we had done in the original days of mobile phones, which network we were ringing. And of course the companies could charge you 70p a minute to ring another network, whereas it might only be a few pence to ring the network that you were on. That changed when O2 brought this £60 for 1,000 minute package out to any networks, and from there then Three came into the company with the 3G network, and their costs went down to about 3p, and now we've got ludicrously low costs for everybody. Kids have got low costs, but it started in 2000, 2001, and that was aimed at commercial users. It probably wasn't till about 6 years ago that the general public could have a sensibly priced tariff that meant they could really, just ring on a mobile with gay abandon. So 5-6 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, the network had to up its game to support that. So then the whole of I'm talking about the UK now really, but the whole of the UK became blasted with microwave radiation mobile phone masts to support this increased use of cellular communications. Shortly after that, we all started to get Wi-Fi, but initially it was just Wi-Fi in the home, and a lot of us stayed with, we were still coming off dial-up really into broadband internet connections. But then of course we sit here in 2012 with the iPhone having been predominant for about 2 years. We're in the point I'm making is we're in a completely different wireless environment than we were in 2001. It's minuscule in 2001 compared to where we are now. The point I'm trying to get to is this stuff takes a while to affect you. So we haven't even begun to see the effects of Wi-Fi because it's only been around for a couple of years. And yeah, there are some people that, and I think a reasonable amount of people, that as soon as they go near Wi-Fi, they get migraines, nausea, and all the other things that go with exposure to microwave radiation. But it's the long-term effects, the chronic fatigue syndrome, cancer. The Wi-Fi is doing the same thing to your brain. It's stopping the pineal gland producing melatonin, so it's stopping decent sleep. And when I go around read, as I'm going to do here today, when I go around taking readings of microwave radiation in a individual's or a company's environment, I don't do what I used to do, because what I would have done in the past was use a different piece of equipment to what I use today that allowed me to strip out the different signals, so I could look at what the particular signal was doing in a given environment. Now it's almost impossible to do that, because there's so much of it, you can't pin it down. Well, you could, but I'd be here for weeks, and you can't afford that, and I can't afford that. But that's how it's changed, with the advent of Wi-Fi. Then you add in stuff like baby monitors and
What about the Xbox?
Yeah. I mean, we're starting to. I was contacted by. I work with health practitioners, and they will contact me with problems that they themselves have worked out, or seeking my advice with regard to, could this be an issue with microwave radiation from wireless communications. I saw quite a shocking one recently, where quite a young guy with burns, and I think he had testicular cancer as well, cancer of the certainly a cancer in that area, and he'd been a gamer, one of the early gamers, and he sat there, with all this stuff. And of course the Xbox is, if you take some of the equipment I use and read the signal at the point of the controller, then it's scary. And then if you actually think about where the guys and the girls or people are holding the Xbox controller or the Wii Fit wand or whatever they're called, it's a very, very high level of microwave radiation held close to their internal organs. But again, because the Xbox only went wireless, I think about 3 years ago, didn't it? It might have been a bit longer, I'm not sure, but not much more than 4, if any. We haven't seen the effects of that, and because that's a close issue, and it should be a short burst issue, but probably isn't for most people now. They can be on it for hours, but that radiation into the internal organs will probably take a few years to do its damage. So we haven't seen the effect of those yet.